Since Paul Skenes made his major league debut, there has been no better pitcher in baseball. He routinely throws fastballs over 100 miles an hour and has a secondary pitch that has never been seen before. So it's no surprise he makes even the best batters look silly despite being just 22 years old. However, there is great concern that due to his pitching style, injuries could play a huge factor in his career and take him off course of a generational talent. But to truly understand what the future has in store for him, we need to go back to when his professional career began. Skenes was selected first overall by the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2023. He has been one of many arms the club has taken over the past decade, but none have ascended into superstar status like they hoped. In the past 10 drafts, they have taken just 3 pitchers who have gone on to post more than 2 WAR in the bigs. The funny thing is, none of them debuted with the Pirates. Cole Irvin has been on a handful of teams and is currently a free agent. Nick Lodolo has decent stuff, but is still finding his footing with the Reds. And finally, Shane Baz, who enjoyed a breakout 2024 campaign with the Rays. The franchise was confident Skenes would be able to end their string of bad luck. After all, he was already reaching 100 miles per hour like it was nothing, with secondary pitches that were equally impressive, so he didn't need much time to mature in the minors. But during his few outings, he got the baseball world raving about his potential dominance over big league batters. Scouts even rated his fastball a perfect 80 out of 80 grade. For reference, a score of 70 equates to perennial all-star caliber, and an 80 means it has the potential to be the best in the game. So when the Pirates finally purchased his contract from AAA on May 11th, 2024, all eyes were on him and how well he could perform in his major league debut against the Chicago Cubs. At this time, the Cubs were still in a position to fight for the Central, just 1.5 games back of the division leaders. And their offense, led by Cody Bellinger, Mike Tauchman, and Michael Busch, had gotten off to a decent start as well, which meant it was going to be no easy task for Skenes. So he brought his A-game with him and tossed a 101 mile per hour fastball on the very first pitch. This did, however, sail below the zone for a ball, but he fought back in the at-bat with a 6-pitch encounter ending on a swing and miss via another 101 mile per hour fastball, which Tauchman was not able to catch up to. He was then able to cruise through the first, limiting a 2-out Cody Bellinger walk by getting the next batter, Christopher Morel, to fly out to center. And as he exited the mound for the first time as a big league player, everyone in the stadium gave him a standing ovation, because his arrival meant there was a glimmer of hope the Pirates could be back competing for October baseball in the not so distant future. And over the next few innings, Skenes continued to amaze all in attendance. In the second, he put himself in trouble after hitting Nico Hoerner, walking Michael Busch, and allowing a single to Miles Mastrobuoni to load the bases with just 1 out. But he showed his maturity and didn't let the emotions of the day get in his way. He struck out Yan Gomes looking with one of his countless triple-digit fastballs, and then retired Tauchman via a ground out to the second baseman. It wasn't until the 4th inning before he gave up his first earned run when Nico Hoerner took him deep. In the end, he was tagged with 2 more runs after the 2 base runners he allowed to start the 5th inning came around to score after being pulled. Nonetheless, it was a solid debut which showcased his elite stuff. Still, the general consensus was that it might take some time to get used to the level, but in his second start, again facing the Cubs, he shut down any talk of him needing a grace period by striking out the first 7 batters he faced and 9 of his first 13. He finally allowed his first base runner with 1 out in the 5th inning after a tough 8-pitch walk to Michael Busch, which included this called ball with 2 strikes that didn't go his way. Regardless, he took his no-hitter into the 6th inning where he sat down P. Crow Armstrong and Miguel Amaya with groundouts, and finally Tauchman down swinging. This was his 100th pitch of the afternoon, and it clocked in at 100 miles per hour. When you take a look at his game logs for his first 2 starts, 74 of his 184 pitches were 4-seam fastballs. Of those, 29 of them were recorded above 100 miles per hour, with the highest clocking in at 101.9 and the lowest at 97.3. His 100th pitch of the night was also his final, as he was lifted from the game in the midst of a no-hitter. But for the 2024 Pirates, who had little sight of the playoffs, there was no need for him to push his limits in just his second MLB outing. After all, it was only May, so there was plenty of baseball to be played, and through his 10th MLB start, he already established himself as one of the most feared pitchers in the league with a 2.12 ERA and 11.8 strikeouts per 9. During this time, the Pirates were able to win 7 of them. The 3 times they lost, Skenes combined for 19 innings, allowing just 3 earned runs, showing that he was giving his team a great opportunity to win each time he took the mound. Because of this, he was voted into the All-Star game, becoming the first player to pitch less than a dozen games in the bigs and make the Midsummer Classic. But before he could don an All-Star game jersey, he had one more start to make against the Milwaukee Brewers. At this time, the Brewers were well on their way to the division crown, were solid defensively, pitching-wise, and of course offensively, meaning it was going to be a tough challenge for the rookie. But he didn't shy away and approach the game just like any other. He warmed up with a weighted ball, a water bag routine, a connection ball under his arm, and after playing catch with a football, he was ready. Up against leadoff man Bryce Terang, he was able to sit him down with a sweeper after a long 8-pitch affair. It might have caught a little bit more of the zone than he would have liked, but throughout the rest of the contest, this was actually the pitch he was able to utilize the best. He only threw it 14 times, but of those, 10 of them were strikes, and only one was hit into play, which was a routine ground ball to the second baseman. He was also able to strike out 4 batters with this pitch, as mentioned Terang in the first, then again in the third, Sal Frelick in the fourth, and finally Blake Perkins in the sixth. Do you notice a trend with these 4 strikeouts? Well, there are 2. The first being how they were all against left-handed batters, and secondly, the catcher was set up on the opposite side of the plate for each. It was clear the game plan was to pepper the Brewers lefties with backdoor sweepers, and he was able to execute it perfectly. Not only that, but his 2 fastball pitches, his off-speed and curveball were all on point, only allowing 2 hard-hit balls the entire night, both 96-mile-per-hour liners which were hit directly at one of his outfielders. In the end, Skenes had yet another no-hit bid, this time going 7 hitless innings before being lifted. His departure caused even more backlash than his first no-hit bid because he was still at 99 pitches and had gone through the 6th and 7th inning with just 13. But when looking at his outing, we can see that his velocity was trending downwards. Circling back to the earlier point of the club not wanting to expose him to extremely high pitch counts just yet, it's not surprising they went to the bullpen. But regardless of the decision, it wrapped up an impressive first half of the season for Skenes, and he was able to bask in his achievements by attending his first All-Star game. Manager Torey Lovullo even named him starting pitcher for the NL, despite missing the first 6 weeks of the year. But before we dive deep into it, let me ask you, are you a shorter guy that can't find comfortable and affordable clothes? Well, look no further than today's sponsor, Under 510 Clothing. Right now, if you click the link in the description, you get a $10 coupon to their website where they have a wide selection of high quality garments for all us shorter guys out there. And with the cooler months fast approaching, they just restocked their super stretch performance pants, which look great and will keep you warm throughout the winter. So check them out and lots more by clicking the link in the description to get $10 off your first order with them. Skenes was selected to be the starting pitcher over guys like Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, and Zach Wheeler, who all had significantly more innings than him. This goes to show the type of respect the MLB world already had for the young flamethrower. And in his first All-Star appearance, he backed their decision. He got Steven Kwan to pop up to shortstop, then induced Gunnar Henderson to a weakly hit ground ball. He was unfortunately unable to get the 1-2-3 inning after walking Juan Soto on 7 pitches, but made up for it by getting his teammate Aaron Judge out on the ensuing pitch. This was his only frame of the night, and while he didn't punch anybody out, he showed off his blazing fastball with his fastest reaching 100. And by setting down 3 of the best batters in the game, it gave him immense confidence entering the second half of the year, where he looked to continue his impressive run of form. But especially for Pirates fans, they had to be weary because they've seen this story before. In 2005, their top prospect Zach Duke was electric, tossing a 1.84 ERA in his first 11 starts of his big league career, .06 better than the mark Skenes posted. He ended up finishing his rookie season with a 1.81 ERA in 14 starts and garnered massive buzz heading into his sophomore season. But he was never able to recapture the success he had as a rookie, and after 6 years with the Pirates, in which he posted a combined 4.54 ERA and 93 ERA+, he bounced around 8 teams in 9 years before retiring. Only time will tell if Skenes will follow suit, but to start the second half of the season, he showed no signs of slowing down by going 8 1/3 innings, allowing just 2 earned runs, putting the Pirates in prime position for another win. However, after getting just 1 run in support, he earned his first loss of his career, which was nowhere near indicative of his performance. And throughout the rest of the year, he enjoyed many games just like this one, with 1 rotten apple of the bunch. A 6-inning, 4 earned run affair against the Dodgers. That was the most runs he allowed in a game out of 23, and his outing was only 1 run less from being a quality start, which goes to show just how consistently elite he was all year long. In fact, from his debut till the end of the season, nobody had a lower ERA than his 196 figure. Nobody had a higher strikeout percentage, and no one had a better strikeout to walk percentage. This has him set up to be a frontrunner for the Rookie of the Year award alongside Jackson Merrill, something which has caused a lot of discussion in the baseball community about who deserves it most. There's a chance by the time you're watching this video, the decision has already been made, so let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with it. Also, while you're down there, if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. Skenes enjoyed a rookie season unlike any other in MLB history, and there's a great chance if he started the year at the majors, he would have won the Cy Young Award as well. Nevertheless, the first 23 games of his career are up there as one of the best in MLB history. Since the expansion era began in 1961, only 4 pitchers have posted an ERA below 2.25 in their first 23 starts. Additionally, his 2.14 ERA plus is the best mark by a rookie with as many starts as him since a man named Denny Driscoll played for Allegheny City in 1882. And finally, his 5.9 WAR is the 5th best by a starter under 22 years old since 1995. So how has Paul Skenes been able to come into the league at 22 years old and already pitch like the best in the game? Well, his 100+ mile-an-hour 4-seamer definitely helps, and his complementary pitches are above average as well. But what truly makes him so tricky to hit is how well he is able to tunnel his pitches. This is what it looks like in action. Up against Blake Perkins, he used his sinker a few inches off the plate that didn't get him to chase. Then later on, he used his sweeper, which on the way to the plate looked identical to his sinker, which Perkins was able to lay off from. But then the pitch moved horizontally into the zone to sit him down looking. This is something the best pitchers in the game do, and for Skenes to be so efficient at it this early on in his career shows how mature he is for 22. Another reason why he's so unhittable is due to his splinter, a pitch he has been tinkering with since his college days, but didn't start to utilize until spring training this past year. Yet somehow, it actually turned out to be his most dominant pitch, limiting batters to just a 184 average and 234 slug against it, only allowing 1 home run despite throwing it 603 times. Which makes it no surprise that in terms of Baseball Savant's run value, it was ranked as the best in baseball. So what exactly is a splinter? Well, it basically has the movement of a splitter with the velocity of a sinker, which means it's difficult for batters to recognize the 30.3 inches of vertical drop alongside the high velocity. For reference, the amount of vertical drop on this pitch is equivalent to Zach Wheeler's splitter, but Skenes throws it on average 8 miles an hour faster. So it's no surprise Michael A. Taylor was left dumbfounded by the pitch, stating, "I don't think I've seen that much movement and the velo combined." There is, however, concern that his ability to reach such high velocity and create so much spin on the ball will leave him with long-lasting injuries such as Tommy John surgery, the procedure which has taken over baseball in the past couple of decades, with the number increasing from around 50 per year in the early 2000s to now consistently over 100. While this surgery has a high success rate and most pitchers are able to pitch effectively again, 10 to 20% of players who go under the knife never make it back to their previous ability and has ruined the careers of numerous pitchers. For example, Matt Harvey of the New York Mets enjoyed a great 2-year stretch to start his MLB career with a 2.39 ERA across 36 starts, the second lowest in baseball during that span. But after undergoing Tommy John, he was taken off the path of generational talent. In fact, among pitchers who tossed as many innings as he did from 2015 to 2021, his 5.09 ERA ranked as the second worst. But the most similar pitcher to Skenes has to be Steven Strasburg. He sported a high 90s fastball that could occasionally reach triple digits, and went on to have a decorated career which included multiple All-Star appearances, leading the league in strikeouts, and becoming a postseason hero for the Nationals after winning World Series MVP in 2019. He required Tommy John surgery in just his second season, and following his postseason heroics, he underwent surgery after surgery. surgery, before deciding to call it quits after pitching just 31 1/3 innings after turning 31, effectively ending his chances of making the Hall of Fame. For Skenes, this is what he needs to avoid. It will be difficult because Tommy John surgery stemmed from a few different reasons, such as the increase in fastball velocity causing increased wear and tear on ligaments. But the faster the fastball, the more likely you are to get the batter to whiff or induce weak contact. In 2024, among fastballs thrown 91 to 94 miles per hour, batters were able to hit 274. Fastballs thrown between 95 to 98, the average dropped to 243, and finally, at 98 miles per hour or greater, batters hit just 213. Evidence shows that the higher the velocity, the harder it is for batters to hit, which is why pitching coaches will never stop urging their pitchers to throw harder, and why Tommy John surgeries are going nowhere. This is why the Pirates need to be careful with Skenes. There has been no pitching talent as highly anticipated as him since Strasburg debuted 14 years ago, and since he made his first start on May 11th, he has been the best in the game. So as he enters his second season as a big league pitcher, a few questions remain. Can he be the ace that lifts the Pirates back into the playoffs? Will he be another Zach Duke, a player who only got Pirates fans excited for nothing, or will he suffer elbow injuries which derail him from a Hall of Fame career? At the moment, we just need to appreciate his rookie season, because it might be the greatest start to a career in MLB history.